The grand chamber of the Galactic Council stretched wider than 10 football fields. 47 different species sat in their designated seats arranged in a perfect circle. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few glowed with strange light. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Ambassador Chen walked into the chamber with 5 other humans. Their footsteps echoed in the vast space. Chen wore a simple gray suit. No weapons, no guards with big armor, just 6 humans in plain clothes. The other species watched them with curious eyes. Some whispered to each other. A few laughed quietly. Chen reached the center platform and bowed respectfully. "Thank you for allowing us to speak today." High Chancellor Vormix of the Tralian Empire looked down at the humans. His 4 eyes blinked slowly. "Humans of Earth, you have asked to join the Galactic Council. We have reviewed your request." Chen waited patiently. His hands stayed clasped behind his back. "Your species is very young," Vormix continued. "You only left your homeworld 200 years ago. Most species here have traveled the stars for 10,000 years or more." "We understand," Chen said softly. A loud clicking sound came from the left side of the chamber. Ambassador Zixthar of the Zorathi stood up. His insect-like body towered over his seat. "We have seen your ships, humans. They are slow, weak. Your weapons are primitive toys compared to ours." Several species made sounds that might have been laughter. Chen's face remained calm. "We came here for friendship, not to prove our strength." "Friendship?" Zixthar clicked his mandibles together. "The galaxy is not a safe place for the weak. The Catharn hegemony expands every cycle. They conquer, they destroy. What will you do when they come for your little blue planet?" "We will deal with that when the time comes," Chen replied. More laughter echoed through the chamber. The ambassador from the Vex Collective, a being that looked like floating crystal, tilted slightly. Something felt wrong to her. The human showed no fear at all. Not even a little bit. That was strange. High Chancellor Vormix raised one of his long arms. The chamber fell silent. "The Council has made a decision. Humans may join as probationary members. This means you have no vote, no voice in our decisions, but you may trade with member species under our rules." Chen nodded. "And what does the Council require from Earth?" "Protection is not free," Vormix said. "The Catharn fear the Council's combined military might. They will not attack Council members. Earth must pay tribute, 15% of your resources each year. In return, the Council's fleets will protect you." Chen looked at his fellow humans. They showed no emotion. He turned back to the Council. "We accept these terms." Surprise rippled through the chamber. Many species expected the humans to argue or negotiate. Instead, they simply agreed. "Excellent," Vormix said. "You are wise to accept reality. Your species is not ready for the dangers of deep space. We will keep you safe." "Thank you, High Chancellor," Chen said. He bowed again and turned to leave with his delegation. As the humans walked out, the species began talking among themselves. They folded immediately. One ambassador said, "Did you see? Not even a protest," said another. "Weak." "Just as we thought," Zixthar clicked loudly. Only the Vex ambassador remained silent. She watched the humans leave through the great doors. Something was wrong. The human leader felt no fear. He felt no anger. He felt only patience, deep, calm patience, like someone waiting for something they knew would come. Outside the chamber, Chen and his team walked through the long corridor. None of them spoke until they reached their small ship. Inside, Commander Jackson finally broke the silence. "They think we're cowards." "Good," Chen said simply. He sat down in his chair and looked out at the massive space station. Thousands of ships from hundreds of worlds docked at its ports. "Let them think that." 15% tribute, Lieutenant Park said. "Earth won't be happy." Chen smiled slightly. Earth knew what to expect. "We told them the Council sees newcomers as servants, not equals. This confirms it." "How long do we wait?" Jackson asked. "Not long," Chen replied. "The Catharn will make their move soon." The Council told them about Earth's weak defenses at least 3 times during our application process. They practically invited an attack. Park looked confused. "Why would the Council do that?" "To test us," Chen explained. "If we fight and win, they learn about our real military. If we fight and lose, they lose nothing. Either way, they gain information." "And if we don't fight?" Jackson asked. "Then they get their tribute and a new servant species," Chen said. "They think they cannot lose." The small human ship undocked from the station. It looked old and slow compared to the sleek vessels around it. Other ships passed them with ease. their crews probably laughing at the primitive human technology. Inside the ship, Chen opened a secure communication channel. The screen flickered to life. Admiral Rodriguez appeared, her face serious. "How did it go?" she asked. "Exactly as predicted," Chen told her. "They think we're weak. They're charging us tribute, and they basically told the Catharn where to find us." Rodriguez nodded. "The Catharn warlord Drakthor has already assembled a fleet. 3,000 warships. Intelligence says they'll move within 3 months. 3,000, Chen repeated. He wants to make a statement. "Will you tell the council the truth?" Rodriguez asked. Chen shook his head. "Not yet. We tried to do this peacefully. We offered friendship. They offered subjugation. Now we wait." "The fleets are ready," Rodriguez said. "All 500,000 ships are standing by. The crews are eager. Tell them to be patient a little longer," Chen said. "And remind them, when the time comes, we do this the human way." "Silent and overwhelming," Rodriguez said with a slight smile. "Silent and overwhelming," Chen agreed. The communication ended. The small human ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading back toward Earth. Behind them, the Galactic Council celebrated their new servants. None of them knew that humanity had been preparing for this moment for 200 years. None of them knew about the shipyards hidden in the dark spaces beyond Earth's sun, and none of them could imagine what was waiting in the silence of deep space. The galaxy thought humans were weak. Soon, they would learn the truth. But not from words. Humans would let their actions speak for them. And when they finally showed themselves, not a single word would need to be spoken. The countdown had begun. 3 months passed like a slow storm building on the horizon. The human colonies on the outer rim continued their daily routines. Farmers grew crops under artificial suns. Miners dug deep into asteroid rocks. Children went to school. Everything looked normal and peaceful. But deep in the secure command centers, everyone watched and waited. Warlord Drakthor of the Catharn hegemony sat on his command throne aboard the warship Bone Crusher. His red eyes glowed in the dim light. Around him, dozens of screens showed his fleet. 3,000 warships, the largest attack force he had ever commanded. "The humans will be our greatest victory," he growled to his officers. "The Galactic Council protects them, but the Council is weak. They will do nothing when we strike. They never do." His second-in-command, a scarred warrior named Vexnal, bowed his head. "The human colonies are undefended, my lord. Our scouts report only a few small patrol ships. No weapons platforms. No defense stations. They are ripe for conquest." Drakthor laughed, a deep sound that echoed through the bridge. "The council says humans are primitive. Let us see if they beg as well as the others did." He pressed a button on his throne. A transmission began recording. His face appeared on screens across the galaxy. Every species with communication technology received the message. "I am Warlord Drakthor of the Catharn hegemony. I speak now to the humans of Earth. You have 7 days to surrender all your colony worlds to Catharn rule. You will serve us or you will die. Your choice is simple. Obey or burn." The transmission ended. Drakthor smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Now we wait for them to crawl to us with their surrender." At the Galactic Council station, chaos filled the chamber. Ambassadors shouted at each other. Some wanted to help the humans. Others said it was not their problem. Most just wanted to watch what would happen. High Chancellor Vormix called for order. "The Catharn have issued their ultimatum. We must decide how to respond." "The humans pay us tribute for protection," one ambassador said. "We should send a fleet." Zixthar clicked his mandibles. "Send a fleet to protect those weaklings? The Catharn will think we are soft. Better to let the humans learn their lesson. They should have built stronger defenses." 3,000 Catharn warships, another voice said. "The humans have maybe 100 ships total. This will be a massacre." The Vex ambassador floated silently near the back. She still felt that strange calm from Ambassador Chen. Something was very wrong with this whole situation, but she could not explain it. Vormix made his decision. "We will call an emergency session. Ambassador Chen has requested 72 hours to consult with Earth. We will grant this and observe." In the human embassy on the council station, Chen stood before a communication screen. Behind him, Commander Jackson and the rest of his team worked at various stations. "The council thinks we will beg them for help," Jackson said. Chen smiled slightly. "Let them think that. How long until Drakthor reaches New Havana?" 4 days, Jackson replied. Our colony there has already begun civilian evacuation. Everyone who cannot fight is being moved to the inner worlds. And our ships. The 7th Fleet is in position. Hidden as ordered. The other fleets are ready to jump on your command. Chen nodded. Good. Send a message to Admiral Rodriguez. Tell her the timer has started. Drakthor will reach New Havana in 96 hours. We will be ready. Far from the Council Station in a dark region of space beyond any colony, the human fleet waited. Not the small patrol ships the galaxy knew about. Not the old merchant vessels they had seen. This was the real human military. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Dreadnought Defiant. Through the windows, she could see dozens of other massive ships. Each one was 5 times larger than the biggest Catharn warship. Their hulls were dark gray, almost invisible against the blackness of space. Status report, Rodriguez commanded. All fleets report ready, Admiral. Her tactical officer said. 500,000 ships total. Crews are at battle stations. Weapons charged. Slipspace drives are online. Rodriguez looked at the tactical map. It showed the Catharn fleet moving toward New Havana, 3,000 red dots advancing like a swarm of insects. They think 3,000 ships is overwhelming force, she said quietly. They cannot imagine what 500,000 looks like. Should we jump in now, Admiral? The tactical officer asked. We could intercept them before they reach New Havana. No, Rodriguez said firmly. We do this the way we planned. We let them reach the colony. We let them think they have won. And then we show them the truth. Humans do not start fights, but we finish them. On Earth, in the capital city of New Geneva, the Prime Minister addressed the world. Billions watched on their screens. Citizens of Earth. By now you have all heard the Catharn ultimatum. I want you to know that we are not afraid. We are not helpless. For 200 years, while the galaxy ignored us, we prepared. We built, we planned. Today the galaxy thinks we are weak. Soon they will learn otherwise. Trust in our military. Trust in our strength. And most importantly, trust that we will protect every human life. The speech ended. Around Earth and the massive shipyards hidden in the asteroid belt and beyond Neptune, workers made final checks. The ships that stayed behind to protect Earth were ready too. Not as many as the main fleet, but more than enough. In his ready room aboard the Bone Crusher, Drakthor watched the timer count down. 4 more days until they reached the human colony. 4 more days until his greatest victory. He did not know that he was not the hunter. He was the prey. And the trap was almost ready to spring. The galaxy was about to learn a very important lesson about humanity. The quiet ones are not weak. They are just waiting for the right moment to show their strength. And that moment was coming soon. The colony of New Havana orbited a blue and green planet on the edge of human space. 20,000 people called it home. The city sparkled like jewels against the planet's surface. Farms stretched across the valleys. It was a peaceful place. Now it was empty. The Catharn fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the star system. 3,000 warships filled the space around them. Drakthor stood on his bridge, his eyes fixed on the planet ahead. Scan for defense ships, he commanded. His sensor officer worked quickly. I detect nothing, my lord. No warships. No defense platforms. No weapons of any kind. Just automated buoys marking trade routes. Drakthor's officers looked at each other in confusion. Where are their ships? Vexnell asked. Even primitives defend their colonies. They ran away, Drakthor said with disgust. The humans are even weaker than we thought. They abandoned their own people rather than fight. He pressed a button. All ships advance to the planet. Prepare bombardment weapons. We will send a message the galaxy will never forget. The massive fleet moved forward like a wall of metal and death. 3,000 ships, each one bristling with weapons. Their target was one helpless planet. On the surface, the cities were dark. The streets were empty. Only the automated system still ran, keeping the lights on and the air clean. Waiting for people who were already gone, the Catharn fleet reached orbit. Drakthor smiled. Target the largest city. Charge all weapons. On my command, space twisted. The sensor officer's eyes went wide. My lord, slipspace signatures. Multiple signatures. I'm detecting a single ship appeared. Then 10, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000. The numbers kept climbing. The sensors could barely keep track. In less than 30 seconds, 500,000 dreadnoughts materialized from slipspace in a perfect sphere around the Catharn fleet. Each ship was enormous, dwarfing even Drakthor's flagship. Their dark gray hulls seemed to drink in the light from the nearby star. Complete silence filled all communication channels. Drakthor stared at the tactical display. His fleet of 3,000 ships was now surrounded by 500,000. The sphere was perfect, every angle covered, every escape route blocked, and every single weapon on every single human ship was locked onto his fleet. What is this? Vexnall whispered. The Catharn sensor officer's hands shook. My lord, I'm reading 500,000 capital ships. Each one is 5 times our largest vessel. The combined firepower is... He stopped. The numbers were too large to make sense. Drakthor's mouth went dry. This is impossible. The humans don't have this many ships. They can't. We saw their fleet. They lied, Vexnall said quietly. They showed us old ships. Decommissioned vessels. While we counted their dozens, they built hundreds of thousands. Drakthor activated his communication panel. Human fleet, this is Warlord Drakthor of the Catharn hegemony. I demand to speak with your commander. Silence, he tried again. Human ships, respond. I wish to negotiate. Still silence, not a single word came from the human fleet. Not a threat, not a warning, not even an acknowledgement. Just 500,000 ships floating in perfect formation, weapons ready, saying nothing at all. Open a channel to the Galactic Council, Drakthor ordered. His voice shook slightly. Tell them there has been a misunderstanding. At the Galactic Council station, the emergency session had turned into chaos. Every sensor they had was focused on New Havana. The images showed on the main display for all to see. 500,000 ships, one ambassador said weakly. That's more than the entire council combined. Where did they come from? Another shouted. How long have they had these? Zixthar's mandibles clicked frantically. This is impossible. We monitored their shipyards. We counted their vessels. The Vex ambassador finally spoke. You counted what they wanted you to count. You monitored the shipyards they let you find. While you laughed at their weakness, they were building in places you never looked. High Chancellor Vormik stood slowly. His 4 eyes were wide with shock. Get me Ambassador Chen now. Chen appeared on the screen. He stood calmly in his office. Behind him, Earth could be seen through the window. He looked exactly as calm as the day he first arrived. Ambassador Chen, Vormik said carefully. There seems to be a situation at New Havana. Yes, Chen replied. The Catharn threatened our colony. We responded. 500,000 dreadnoughts is a response? Zixthar shouted. That is the largest military fleet in galactic history. Chen's expression did not change. We tried to tell you. You would not listen. Tell us what? Vormix demanded. That humanity learned our lessons long ago, Chen said quietly. We studied your history before making first contact. We saw how the Council treats new species. We saw how the Catharn prey on the weak. We saw how the strong dominate the helpless. So we decided we would never be helpless. You lied to us, Zixthar accused. No, Chen corrected. We simply did not tell you everything. You assumed we were weak because we were new. You assumed our small delegation meant we had nothing else. You assumed wrong. On the tactical display, the standoff at New Havana continued. 500,000 human ships surrounded 3,000 Catharn vessels. Still not a single word had been spoken by the human fleet. Why are they not communicating? Vormix asked. Why this silence? Chen smiled slightly. Because words are for those who need to threaten. We have nothing to prove. The Catharn came to our colony with threats and demands. We answered with presence. Sometimes the clearest message is no message at all. Back at New Havana, Drakthor tried everything. He tried to hail the human ships again and again. He tried to contact the Council. He tried to activate his faster-than-light drive to escape. Red lights flashed across his bridge. FTL drive is not responding, my lord. There are jammers active across the entire sector. We cannot jump. Drakthor looked at the tactical display again. His 3,000 ships trapped in a sphere of 500,000 enemies. The humans could destroy his entire fleet in seconds. One volley. That is all it would take, but they did nothing. They just waited, watched. Weapons locked on target. Silent as the void of space itself. Try one more time, Drakthor said quietly. Tell the human fleet. Tell them I wish to discuss terms. His communication officer sent the message. They waited. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes, then finally a response. Not from the fleet. From a single ship. A small shuttle that emerged from one of the dreadnoughts. A human voice, calm and clear, spoke for the first time. Only 3 words, leave now, forever. The human shuttle hung in space between Drakthor's flagship and the wall of Dreadnoughts. It was tiny compared to the massive warships around it. Yet everyone knew that small shuttle spoke with the authority of 500,000 ships behind it. Drakthor stared at his display. His pride as a warlord, as a conqueror, burned inside him. He had never retreated. He had never surrendered. The Catharn hegemony did not bow to anyone. "My lord," Vexnall said quietly, "we must consider our options. If we fight, we die," Drakthor finished. "I know this. But if we run, every species in the galaxy will know the Catharn fled from battle. Our reputation will be destroyed. Better a damaged reputation than 3,000 dead crews," his tactical officer said. Drakthor's fists clenched. Then he made a decision. "All ships prepare to engage. Target the nearest human vessels. If we must fall, we fall fighting." "My lord, please," Vexnall started. "I gave an order." Drakthor roared. At the Galactic Council station, every ambassador watched the tactical display with horror. "He is going to attack," one whispered. "They will all die," another said. "The humans will have no choice but to return fire." Chen stood before the council. His face showed concern for the first time. "I need to speak with my military command, please." "Denied," Vormik said firmly. "You will remain here and watch what your fleet does. High Chancellor, if the Catharn fire first, then we will all see the truth of human military power," Vormik said. "You brought these ships. Now we see what they do." The Vex ambassador floated closer to Chen. "Your people will destroy the Catharn fleet, yes?" Chen looked at her directly. "If they fire first, we will have no choice. But I pray Drakthor sees reason." At New Havana, the Catharn fleet activated their weapons. Every gun, every missile, every torpedo pointed at the nearest human ships. The energy signatures lit up the sensors like small suns. Inside the Dreadnought Defiant, Admiral Rodriguez watched calmly. "Admiral, the Catharn are powering weapons," her tactical officer reported. "I see it," Rodriguez replied. "Do we raise shields? Return target lock?" "No," Rodriguez said. "Hold position. All ships maintain current status." "But Admiral, I gave an order," Rodriguez said firmly. "The Catharn want to see if we will flinch." "We do not flinch." The tactical officer swallowed hard. "Yes, Admiral." Across the human fleet, 500,000 ships held steady. Weapons remained locked. Shields stayed down. They did not move, did not react, did not show even the slightest concern that 3,000 enemy ships were about to fire on them. Drakthor looked at his weapons display. "All systems ready. One command and his fleet would unleash everything they had." "My lord," his weapons officer said. "All ships report ready to fire." Drakthor stared at the human ships. They were not raising shields, not powering additional weapons. They just waited like they knew something he did not. "My lord," Vexnall said carefully, "they are not defending themselves." "Why would they not defend themselves?" A cold feeling grew in Drakthor's stomach. Unless they do not need to. "Fire," he commanded. 3,000 Catharn warships fired every weapon at once. Missiles streaked across space. Energy beams blazed like angry red rivers. Torpedoes flew in swarms. It was enough firepower to destroy a planet. The weapons hit the nearest human ships and did nothing. The missiles exploded against hull armor and left no marks. The energy beams touched the metal and dissipated like water on hot rocks. The torpedoes detonated and the ships did not even shake. Not a single scratch. Not one bit of damage. The human dreadnoughts had not even bothered to raise their shields. Their hull armor alone was strong enough to ignore everything the Catharn threw at them. Drakthor stood frozen. "Impossible," he whispered. His weapons officer checked his systems frantically. "All weapons fired correctly, my lord. Direct hits confirmed, but no damage registered. None at all." On the Dreadnought Defiant, a junior officer looked up from his station. "Admiral, should we return fire?" "No," Rodriguez said calmly. "They needed to learn a lesson. Now they have learned it. We do not need to kill them to prove our point." Silence filled the space around New Havana. The Catharn fleet had emptied their weapons. The human fleet had not fired a single shot. They had not needed to. In the council chambers, nobody spoke. They had all watched 3,000 warships attack with everything they had. They had all seen it do absolutely nothing. Chen finally broke the silence. "Humanity studied warfare for 10,000 years before we left Earth. We perfected armor technology while others perfected weapons. We believed the best defense was making ourselves too difficult to hurt. What you just saw was 90 years of materials science and engineering. Your ships did not even feel those weapons, Zixthar said in disbelief. Oh, they felt them, Chen corrected. Our sensors detected every impact. The ships just were not damaged. There is a difference. Vormix sat down heavily. What happens now? That depends on Warlord Drakthor, Chen said. We gave him a chance to leave. He chose to attack. Now we wait to see if he has learned his lesson. At New Havana, Drakthor stood on his bridge in complete silence. His officers waited for orders. His ships waited for commands. Everyone knew the truth now. The humans could destroy them at any moment. They had weapons that could fire through their shields. They had armor that ignored their most powerful attacks. And they had 500,000 ships to the Catharn's 3,000. But the humans were not firing. They were still just waiting. One of his officers finally spoke. My lord, what do we do? Drakthor closed his eyes. For the first time in his long career as a warlord, he felt true fear. Not fear of death. He had faced death many times. This was fear of something worse. The fear of being completely, utterly outmatched. Of realizing you had attacked someone far stronger than you could imagine. Of knowing that they could end you but were choosing not to. The humans were not being merciful. They were being patient. Like an adult watching a child throw a tantrum. Waiting for the child to tire themselves out. Waiting to see if the child would learn. Drakthor opened his eyes. He looked at the human fleet surrounding him. 500,000 ships that had not even flinched when fired upon. He pressed a button. Human fleet, this is Warlord Drakthor. I request permission to speak with your commander. This time there was no delay. Admiral Rodriguez's face appeared on his screen. She looked calm. Professional. Like this was just another day for her. I am Admiral Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have something to say, Warlord? Drakthor swallowed his pride. I surrender. The Catharn fleet surrenders unconditionally to humanity. Please do not destroy my ships. Rodriguez nodded once. Your surrender is accepted. Power down all weapons. Deactivate shields. You will remain in this position for 96 hours. If you attempt to leave or rearm, we will respond. After 96 hours, you may return to Catharn space. Do you understand? Yes, Drakthor said quietly. I understand. Good, Rodriguez said. Then she added something that would haunt him forever. And Warlord, when you return home, tell them what you saw here. Tell them what happened when you attacked the humans. Tell them we did not fire a single shot. Let that message spread across your empire. The transmission ended. Drakthor sat down on his throne. He felt very old suddenly. Very tired, my lord, Vexnal asked. Do as she ordered, Drakthor said. Power down everything. We wait here for 4 days. And then we go home. Around them, the human fleet maintained its perfect sphere. 500,000 ships, still silent, still waiting. Not celebrating victory. Not gloating about their power. Just doing their job with quiet efficiency. The galaxy would learn a new truth today. Humans did not need to be loud to be strong. They did not need to threaten to be dangerous. Their silence said more than any words ever could, and that silence would echo across every star system for generations to come. 4 days passed in complete silence. The Catharn fleet remained surrounded, powerless, waiting. The human dreadnoughts did not move, did not speak, did not do anything except maintain their perfect sphere formation. On the final hour of the 4th day, Admiral Rodriguez sent one last message. Warlord Drakthor, your time here is complete. You may power your engines and return home. The FTL jammers will be deactivated in 5 minutes. You have safe passage back to Catharn space. Do not return to human territory. Drakthor stood on his bridge. His officers waited nervously. When the 5 minutes passed, he gave the order. All ships, jump to Catharn Prime. Take us home. The 3,000 Catharn warships activated their drives and vanished into faster-than-light travel. Not a single shot had been fired at them. The humans had simply let them go. As soon as the Catharn were gone, the sphere of human ships dissolved. 500,000 dreadnoughts activated their slipspace drives. In less than a minute, the entire fleet vanished. The space around New Havana was empty again, like they had never been there at all. Except everyone knew, everyone had watched, and everyone understood what it meant. At the Galactic Council station, The emergency session continued. But now it was very different. No one was laughing. No one was making jokes about primitive humans. They all sat in stunned silence. High Chancellor Vormix looked at Ambassador Chen. "You have questions to answer." "I will answer what I can," Chen replied calmly. "How long have you had those ships?" "We started building them 200 years ago. When we first left Earth, we sent scouts to watch the galaxy. We saw how things worked out here. We saw the Council. We saw the empires. We saw the wars. We decided we needed to be ready." "You spied on us for 200 years, Zixthar said." "We observed," Chen corrected. "There is a difference. We did not interfere. We did not steal. We did not harm anyone. We just watched and learned. And built 500,000 warships in secret," another ambassador added. Chen nodded. "Yes, we built them in places you never looked. Beyond our outer planets. In dark regions between stars. In nebulas where sensors do not work well. Humanity is good at hiding things when we need to." The Vex ambassador spoke. "Why did you come to the Council at all? With that fleet, you could have demanded membership. You could have taken whatever you wanted." "Because that is not who we are," Chen said firmly. "We do not want to dominate others. We do not want to conquer. We came seeking friends and partners. We hoped the galaxy would accept us as equals. Instead, we treated you as servants," Vormix said quietly. "Yes," Chen agreed. "You charged us tribute. You told our enemies where to find us. You tested us to see if we would fight or flee. You played games with human lives. And we let you because we wanted to give you every chance to do the right thing." "What happens now?" one ambassador asked nervously. Chen smiled slightly. "Now humanity withdraws from the Council. We will not pay tribute. We will not follow Council rules. We will handle our own defense and manage our own trade. You wanted servants. We wanted friends. Since we cannot have what we want, we will go our own way." "You are declaring independence from the Council?" Vormix asked. "We were always independent," Chen replied. "We just tried to be polite about it. But being polite is not the same as being weak. The galaxy seems to have forgotten that." Vormix stood slowly. "The Council acknowledges your withdrawal. Humanity is no longer bound by Council authority." Chen bowed. "Thank you, High Chancellor. Earth wishes the Council well. We hope in the future we can build a better relationship, one based on respect instead of dominance." He turned to leave. The Vex ambassador called out, "Ambassador Chen, one question. Why did your fleet never fire? They could have destroyed the Catharn in seconds. Why did you let them live?" Chen stopped and looked back. "Because strength is not about how much you can destroy. It is about how much you can protect. We could have killed Drakthor and his entire fleet. But what would that prove? That we have weapons? Everyone has weapons. Instead, we showed the galaxy something more important. We showed restraint, control, the ability to overwhelm an enemy without needing to harm them. That is real power." He left the chamber. The ambassadors sat in silence for a long time after he was gone. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets. Humanity had faced its first real challenge from the galaxy and emerged victorious, not through destruction but through demonstration. They had shown everyone who they really were. In the weeks that followed, 3 things happened that changed the galaxy forever. First, the Catharn hegemony withdrew to their home systems. Warlord Drakthor told everyone what happened at New Havana. The story spread quickly. 500,000 ships that appeared from nowhere, weapons that did no damage, a surrender accepted without bloodshed. The Catharn stopped their expansion. They did not attack anyone for many years after that. They had learned their lesson. Second, 23 smaller species contacted Earth directly. They were tired of the Council's rules and the constant threat of empires like the Catharn. They asked if they could join a new alliance, one with humans, one based on mutual defense and respect. Earth agreed. The Terran Alliance was born. Third, the Galactic Council changed its policies. No more tribute from new species. No more testing. No more treating newcomers as servants. The humans had shown them a mirror, and they did not like what they saw. It would take time, but slowly the Council began to reform. Back on Earth, Ambassador Chen met with Admiral Rodriguez in a quiet cafe overlooking Geneva. They drank coffee and watched the sunset. "The Council is already calling," Chen said. "They want to negotiate new terms. Equal membership. No tribute. Full voting rights. Will you accept?" Rodriguez asked. Chen smiled. "Eventually. But we will make them work for it first. They need to understand that respect is earned, not demanded. The fleet is returning to base, Rodriguez said. The crews performed perfectly. Not one mistake, not one accidental shot fired. I am proud of them. As you should be, Chen agreed. They just changed galactic history without firing a single shot. That takes more discipline than any battle. They sat quietly for a moment, watching the sun paint the sky in colors of orange and red. Do you think the other species understand now? Rodriguez asked. Do they understand why we stayed silent? Some do, Chen replied. The Vex ambassador understood immediately. She felt our patience from the beginning. Others will take longer. But yes, eventually they will all understand. Sometimes the most powerful statement is the one you do not make. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Rodriguez raised her coffee cup. To silence, then. Chen raised his cup to meet hers. To silence. And to a galaxy that finally learned to listen. They drank and watched the sun disappear below the horizon. Somewhere above them, among the stars they could not see in the daylight, humanity's hidden fleets returned to their secret stations. Ready, waiting, silent. The galaxy had thought humans were weak. They had been so very wrong. And now, every species from the council chambers to the Catharn homeworld knew one simple truth. The quiet ones are not weak. They are just waiting for the right moment to show their strength. And when that moment comes, words become unnecessary. 500,000 dreadnoughts. Not a single word spoken. And the galaxy would never be the same.